computer and
hello everyone. Um, Almost 10 years have passed since my organization, Umanotera, was partner in an international project, European Green Office, which was funded with support of the European Commission. Recognizing importance of greening the offices, environmental management system practitioners from 7 organizations from 6 countries participated. Hungarian colleagues from the CUVET Association actually coordinated this project. 10 years is a relatively long period, and some of the project outputs have meanwhile died their natural death. Some of them, however, have stood the test of time and are still available to potential users. The first survivor of the European Green Office is the European Green Office Handbook. At the bottom of this slide, I pasted a link where it can be downloaded for free. Some content of the handbook might be slightly outdated. However, it will give you a good general idea of the aspects which need to be taken into consideration in greening the office. Besides chapters on improving energy efficiency, reducing consumption of natural resources, waste and mobility, emphasis is given to less obvious but critically important cross-sectoral systemic aspects such as green office management, green procurement, and communication. The second project output, which is still available, is the so-called Green Office Checklist. Green Office Checklist is an online self-evaluation tool which can help you to assess the actual environmental performance of your office and identify areas which need improvement. It can also be used to measure and monitor progress in greening of your office. The checklist is also available as a free Excel file. You can download it from the link at the bottom of this slide. It consists of 133 questions on the topics of green office management, communication, green procurement, energy consumption, IT equipment, buildings, waste, etc., generally following the chapters in the EGO handbook. The checklist comes with instructions for use and a tool for tracing your improvement. You are warmly invited to use the EGO products. Besides producing different tools, a very important part of the EGO project consisted of mentoring of green office managers from organizations from different sectors. With several organizations which were included in the mentoring process, Umanotera established a long-term cooperation which lasts to date, and in time they made quite fascinating progress in greening of their operations. I was invited by organizers of today's event to present achievements of a couple of these organizations. Let me start with big companies. Ljubljana Airport has been developing their environmental management system since 2013 and fully integrated in company's quality system. Early on, they appointed a green office manager and established a green team. They're a pioneer among Slovenian companies in the use of carbon footprint as a tool for managing climate impacts. They have an 8-year track of calculating their carbon footprint, which enabled them to identify their biggest sources of greenhouse gas emissions and systematically address them. Their goal is to achieve carbon neutrality by 2025. They are procuring electricity from renewable energy sources. They replaced the old heating and cooling system of their buildings and switched to heat pumps, which greatly improved their energy efficiency and reduced their carbon footprint. Mobility was identified as their second biggest source of emissions, which led to a number of measures. They introduced service bicycles and small electric cars, which employees use for movement around the airport and maintenance activities. Last year, they were testing an electric bus for transport of passengers from the terminal to the planes. Electric car sharing is available at the location, allowing for climate-friendlier transfer from airport to our capital, Ljubljana. Even before epidemic hit in 2020, they were replacing business travel with teleconferencing, and they encourage employees to use sustainable mobility such as public transport and carpooling for their daily commutes. They have been publishing yearly sustainable reports since 2016, and they obtained the ISO Environmental Management Certificate. Another big company, which I would like to mention, is Slovenia's biggest bank, NLB Group. The tool which they develop supports information, awareness raising, and training of employees. As part of their in-house training program, they developed a webinar and employee knowledge test. This not only enables the strengthening of employee competencies, but also enables the company to access important information which would otherwise be difficult to obtain. This training program is mandatory for all employees and is also an important tool for introducing new employees to the company's environmental culture. On the left side of the slide, unfortunately in Slovenian, you can see a tool we call a weather forecast. It consists of a set of questions regarding various environmental aspects of bank's operation, with employees' answers in the range from sunny to cloudy or even stormy. Their perception of company's environmental performance is measured. The next part of the program is a quick description of the Green Office and why it is important, as well as introduction of the Green Team, followed by an invitation of the CEO to employees to actively participate in greening of their office. Next, different measures which employees can take in their daily activities to reduce environmental footprint are presented, including a simple personal carbon footprint calculator where employees also enter data on their commuting habits. This is a piece of information which is otherwise rather difficult to obtain. The final part of the program consists of an exam which the employees pass if they answer to weather forecast questions, enter the data on their commuting, and correctly answer at least 80% of questions on environmentally friendly practices in the fields of energy efficiency, mobility, waste, etc. The next good practice is a small printing company, Medium. Already in 2012, they appointed a very dedicated green team. They are committed to continuous quality improvement and reducing environmental impact, as evidenced by the ISO and EMAS certificates. In the printing production process, they introduced more environmentally friendly inks, and they use paper with environmental certificates. Their latest achievement is established self-sufficiency with carbon neutral electricity from their own solar power plant. Majority of their employees commute to work using sustainable mobility. They either walk, cycle, or use public transport. And in Slovenia, this is a huge achievement. Companies' unique and, in the meantime, traditional way of communicating their sustainability efforts to external stakeholders is the Open Doors Day, usually held on the International Earth Day, when they invite customers, partners, local decision makers, and employees to a locally sourced organic brunch. In such an informal, very pleasant way, they introduce their efforts and latest achievements, strengthening the bond with local community and their customer base. The last case I will mention is my own organization, Umanotera, which is a non-governmental organization active in the field of sustainable development. Last year, we celebrated 25th anniversary, and Green Office is a natural part of our organizational culture. We are a small organization with only 6 employees, so our green team consists of all employees. We have developed our green system of operation, which is our internal policy, but we deliberately have it published on our webpage and promote it, inviting other organizations to copy it and use it for their own purposes. Our main subject of work is climate change, and we have a 12-year record. We have a 12-year track recording of carbon footprint calculation and reporting, which is shown on the left side of the slide. We are regularly offsetting our emissions. Our green system of operations deals with all aspects of office's environmental impacts, among others also the green procurement policy and sustainable mobility plan. One of our most efficient communication tools are our sustainable events, such as workshops and conferences. To conclude, so what makes a green office a good practice? It is about recognizing various environmental impacts of office activities. Use of paper is a very obvious, but not necessarily the most important one. So digging into a thorough analysis of work processes and measuring environmental impacts is the first step. You know how they say, you cannot manage what you don't measure. Good green office is also about systematically incorporating measures for reducing harmful environmental impacts in all of organizations' processes and operations. It has to become an integral part of how we do things, or else part of the organization's quality system. The third item is actually a make or break factor, which decides whether the office greening will succeed or fail. We observe again and again that support of the top management and the dedicated green team are absolutely crucial. There is no green office without committed people. The next item is about perseverance. Year in, year out, repeating the cycle, which consists of planning the measures, implementing them, checking their outcomes, and acting to achieve gradual improvements. And last, but crucially important, communication, which relates to internal and external stakeholders. It includes information sharing, awareness raising, education, training, and very importantly, celebration of success. Let me conclude by assuring you that being a green office manager in an organization is a very creative and rewarding position. It allows you to accomplish many things to turn your company greener and better. So if you're setting foot on this path, I wish you much success, good luck, and kind regards from Ljubljana.